Summer's coming. Stay hydrated. So, summer is coming. It's hot, at least for some of us. Those of us who live in the southern part of the United States, it is getting a little steamy. I believe this weekend it's supposed to hit the mid to upper 90s, which, as a guy originally from New Hampshire and Vermont, is hot. It's hot and humid, even after going to high school and college in Missouri. But it's important to stay hydrated. Water, not just water, but make sure you're getting electrolytes in too. Fresh fruit and vegetables are great. You don't necessarily need to eat a whole bag of tortilla chips after your run. However, I will admit I've been known to down a lot of tortilla chips post-run because they're delicious, especially in the summer. But kind of along those lines, especially given how virus aware we are all now after the last couple of years, dig out those beer glasses from when you were in undergrad. Because the nice part about beer glasses, unless you have a whole bunch of the same beer glass, is they all have different designs on them, right? And so for those of us with families, including germy kids going to summer camps and school, you can tell whose glass is whose, and you'll be less likely to drink after your kids and be less likely to have your kids accidentally drink from your glass. And everybody can stay hydrated and be less likely to get sick. And staying healthy is rule number one when it comes to training, right? So it's okay to give your 8-year-old a beer glass. Just make sure you fill it with water, not beer. The second part of hydration is use your scale, okay? Now that we're kind of getting into the warmer part of the year, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere, especially on your quality runs and long rides, and this is true for your swimmers too. If you're spending a lot of time in the pool, you're probably sweating more than you think you are, even though you may be inside. Weigh yourself before and after your workouts. Not that we care what your body weight is, but if you weigh yourself before and afterwards, you will have a ballpark idea of how much water you lost in sweat. And this is really, really important because as we get dehydrated, our blood volume goes down and our blood becomes more viscous. And it makes it harder to pump. And so our heart is having to work harder in order to push that sludge through our veins if we're super dehydrated, right? And this can obviously negatively impact performance and stuff like that on the tail end of a long run or a long ride or a hard workout where you're sweating a lot. But we need to make sure, one, if you are going to be doing long, hard workouts, take hydration with you, okay? And not just water, but take something with some electrolytes in it, like some Tailwind or some powdered Gatorade or whatever your electrolyte drink of choice is. Take it with you. That way you're not getting super dehydrated because that can run into some issues even for us healthy folks, but especially just anyone. You get more out of your workout if you're better hydrated anyway because your heart rate will stay where it's supposed to. But stay hydrated, and then if you weigh yourself before and after your workout, you will have an idea of how much water you lost. 8 pounds is 1 gallon of water. That sounds like a lot of weight, right? But you may be surprised how much water you're losing via sweat, or if you live in an arid climate, sweat and respiration, just due to water as your body is trying to cool itself down, okay? And if you don't weigh yourself beforehand and afterwards, you don't really know how much sweat you lost, especially if you're one of those folks in a dry environment, because it actually evaporates, unlike here in Louisiana where you just look like you jumped in a pool, right? So weigh yourself before and afterwards and make sure however much water you lost, 1 gallon being 8 pounds, make sure you're getting that much back in you before you go work out again, right? Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do the workout effectively. You're not going to be recovered enough to do the workout. Training in a chronically dehydrated state is not productive. And it's not healthy, and it's not safe, especially when it's hot. You have to be able to sweat to keep that core temperature down, all right? Don't have a heat stroke. Stay hydrated. Dig out your beer glasses so that nobody's getting sick. because you can't train when you're sick, or at least you shouldn't train when you're sick. So until next time, stay hydrated.